Welcome back. Now, post the NEC resolving to expand the GNU, President Ramaphosa says that lessons learned about the formation over the last year will aid how government will go about reconfiguring it. 5 options have been set on the table to see it through. Just what can we expect? Dirk Kotze, political analyst with the Department of Political Sciences at UNISA, joins us with his analysis for perspective on the political landscape. Dirk, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Now, there have been calls to review, reconfigure the GNU for quite some time now. Now we're seeing the ANC, NEC throwing its weight behind it. What's your reading of this? Is it more of a strategic move from the ANC? I mean, I'm reminded of the budget impasse and how parties outside of the GNU were the ones to support the ANC. And I see those parties also have been extended that GNU invite.
Yes, good afternoon. I think what has happened is that because of what you've said now, there was lots of pressure on President Ramaphosa to kick the DA simply out of the government of national unity. A more moderate position was to say, let's discuss the future of the GNU. There's also some pressure, especially from the left, to say that the DA must be out, and then either the MK party or the MK and the EFF must be brought into the government of national unity, because this notion of whether it is a unity government or not still remains a point of debate. But I think the way in which the decision of the NEC now is, in a sense, going back to the original position of the GNU and to say any party is willing to or is able to negotiate with us if they can sign this declaration of intent, then they are able to join it. And both the MK party as well as the EFF have preconditions that makes it for the ANC possible to allow them to get into the GNU, on top of the fact that the statement of intent is saying any new party that comes into the GNU must have the support of all the existing parties within the GNU.
With that being said, you know, most of the leftist parties don't want the DA to be in the GNU if they were to join. Is it still a possibility? Will we likely see perhaps the DNU leave the GNU, or the ANC perhaps push out the DA from the coalition?
It's highly unlikely. I think what both the DA and the ANC knows, and they don't say it necessarily, obviously in public, is that they know each other and there's no other options for them. It's dictated by the results of last year's election. They don't have any other options. So it is not what the ANC has decided now at the NEC is merely to, I would say, to give a gesture to the left within the ANC, but it's not something which I think will have any consequences or any results or change the current situation, therefore.
All right. Dirk, I wonder if the expansion of the GNU would result in additions to cabinet, right? That also brings about concerns of the size of cabinet.
Well, what they will have to do is that they will have to renegotiate the existing allocation of seats within the cabinet. It's almost inconceivable to say that they will have to create new cabinet positions, new ministries, because what is at the moment the case is that there's this existing number of government departments, and they must have ministers. So some of them, for example, in the past, agriculture and land reform, with 2 departments but with 1 minister. There are very few departments now or ministries where there's more than 1 department within that ministry. So what it will mean is a reallocation of ministers amongst the existing parties. And I think the existing parties will push against that.
Another point that was highlighted at the meeting was the split between the ANC and the SACP, with the SACP saying it now plans to contest the 2026 municipal elections independently. This, of course, a blow to that tripartite alliance. What do you make of that in particular? It seems to reveal some sort of trust deficit when it comes to the ANC.
Yes, this is something that has a very long history. The Communist Party that has in several previous elections have said until the very last moment almost that they are not going to support the ANC and then ultimately did support the ANC. What we've seen now is that they have now participated in a number of by-elections in 2019 and in the area around Sasolburg. And now very recently in one of the wards in Polokwane. In the latest one, they received only 1%, the SACP, and the EFF won that very convincingly. So I think the big question for all of them is if the SACP is going to contest on their own, will it mean a split between the ANC and the Communist Party vote, which will be to the detriment of the ANC? With this latest result, it looks like it might not be as significant as many people are fearing.
Okay.
And the Communist Party certainly, especially Solomahile, is very adamant that they have to do it, to go on their own. So I think for the moment that is going to be the case, but the ANC still keeps the door open for a final reconciliation between the two parties.
And I think he did mention that conversations are ongoing. President Ramaphosa also pointing to a sharp focus on the state of municipalities. Just your reading on the ANC looking to strengthen its branches and also deploying better members at these different municipalities.
Yes, this is the Achilles heel of the ANC. It's local government. That is where they have first started to lose in 2016 metros and the majority in metros. So it's not about only what happened in last year's local, national and provincial elections, but there's a longer history of ANC coalitions at local government level. But the results that we've seen last year with the national and provincial elections must still sort of manifest themselves at local level. So it's relatively predictable that the ANC will still lose quite significant support at local government level. There's no party really, except maybe the IFP to a lesser extent, that started losing support and actually could turn that trend around. The ANC is losing support since 2009 already.
Yeah.
And irrespective of who's the president, that is the trend. And I think history is simply against the ANC at the moment.
Are we moving into just coalition politics from now on, or from last year's election, whether it is at national level or municipality level?